Hi, this is Steve from YourCreativeLife.com, talking today about what kind of behavior is useful in a writer's room. What makes you a good collaborator in the space of a room where you're there for perhaps multiple hours a day with a group of people trying to make a TV show? What are the do's and don'ts? How should you be? Is the question of the day. So I think it's pretty simple, actually. If you think about it, there are two things that are going on in a writer's room on a major regular basis. One of them is the main thing is you're there to create story. You're there to figure out, along with your colleagues, what this episode of the story of the series should be, what the next episode of the story should be, what the next episode, the next episode, the next episode. You're there to create content. You're there to develop characters and talk about how the series moves along and create those scripts. That's basically what you're there to do. And then for certain of us, you get to also be on set and supervise a particular shooting of a particular episode or series of episodes. And you may also get to work in the editing room on a particular episode as well. So all of these things are part of what the job is. And that's one thing that's going on in the process of being in the writer's room. The other thing that's going on is this internal thing, which can be thought of to be your personal fear, your personal whatever, your anxiety, your thoughts, your emotions that are trafficking and moving through you during the experience of being in the writer's room as you do the other thing. And I think all of the behaviors that I'm going to mention here come down to the notion of not allowing whatever the nerves are in you to overwhelm the process that you're there to undertake. So what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean basically is that you're there to play well with others. So in the circumstance of writing a script yourself, you get to be the king or queen or whatever, the monarch of that particular world. You get to decide this is happening, this is not happening. This character is staying, this character is going. This is the plot, this is not the plot. That is not what you get to do in a writer's room that involves many people, unless you're the showrunner. So in the space of being in that writer's room with all these other folks, what you really want to do is play well with others. And that means have a open, collaborative attitude. You can tell the difference in a writer's room or in any space. People who are there paying attention, their face is up, they're energetic, they're looking to add something to the conversation. Or you might see, somebody whose face is cast down, who is sort of in their own world, not really paying attention, not being energetic. Those sorts of things are some of the basics to simply be in the game. And what that means is not taking things super personally. You may discover, of course, as we all do, that you might become emotionally involved. I want this pitch to work. I'm going to say this thing. I think it's brilliant. I really hope they affirm the brilliance of it. And they may or they may not. Again, if you pitch something and it gets knocked down and you're like, oh, damn, I'm so upset. These people don't understand me. And I'm going to, if I take it down, then that's a space where I'm taking things personally, right? So A, stay in the game, keep your attention up and out and forward. B, don't take things personally. C, recognize that you are making a contribution, whether you speak a lot or whether you don't speak a lot. It's really not a game of how many words can I speak, right? Although at the same time, even though it's not a game of how many words I speak, it is a game of making sure that I'm making a contribution of some kind to the process of the writer's room. So I don't want to be silent forever and ever and ever. And I don't want to be the person who's speaking all the time and keeps saying things nonstop and nonstop and nonstop, and who says things that are irrelevant, who starts, whatever that is. So stay in the game, be present, don't take things personally, and maintain some sort of balance of participation, but at the same time, affirm for yourself that you are contributing, because likely you are. If you're paying attention, You have a point of view that you bring into the room as a woman, as a man, as a gay person, as a Black person, as an Asian person, as an older person, as a younger person. You're going to bring your perspective. And as long as you're honestly sharing, and that's the next thing, to honestly share about, here's my question about this particular storyline, or I get why we're doing that, and I'm not really sure about how this might land with blah, blah, blah. To bring my honest self into the room becomes really important. So share your honest self. And at the same time, know that you're there to make the story work. And as a person who's not the showrunner, you're going to ultimately allow the process to function the way the process functions. And that means that if the showrunner makes a choice that you wouldn't make, ultimately, it's not a great idea to have a big tantrum about it and to sort of stomp off and say, that's again, making it about you. So some of these things I've talked about are stay in the game and pay attention, be present. Don't take things personally, maintain a balance between speaking up and not speaking too much. Be honest in your feedback and your responses. And I think the other thing that I'll say is be kind. There's a way to bring a level of kindness into the writer's room that I think is a really useful thing, where if somebody does a pitch that's really interesting, compliment them. Say, wow, I really like that, or what a good idea, or thanks, Joe, or thanks for reminding me of that, or that's really cool, or, to bring a positive, again, collaborative energy into the writer's room becomes definitely one of those things that makes showrunners want to hire you again and again. There's one other thing that I want to say here, which is that in the space of not taking things personally, in the space of being in a collaborative mode, it's very important to bring an honest self, but also not to be harshly critical. So I think there's a way to say, as I kind of demonstrated a moment ago, when there's something I don't agree with in the room or something I have a question about in the room, I can bring that up without being combative. I don't have to say, that's a dumb idea, you idiot. I can say, I'm curious about this, and I'm curious about it because my concern is X and Y. So again, to present even a problem in a kind and collaborative way, to say, I'm curious about X or Y. I'm not certain that this is going to land in a particular way, or perhaps we could do this or this. And you might bring that kind of concern out of your own expertise as a woman, as a Black person, as a gay person, as an older person, as a younger person, whatever it is, right? But to bring those things not as hard and fast rules that you're going to shake your finger at and be really angry, but something you're going to present as an opportunity to say, I'm curious about, or maybe blah, blah, blah. So to find a way to kind of bring that energy into the room, again, not combative and not harsh, but really, in an honest way to sort of see what happens. And then to be willing, and this is the final thing that I'll say, to be willing to let things go. It's not my show, so I don't get to have the last word. And if it's not your show, you don't get to have the last word either. But if you're in the space of being present and articulating what you think and what you feel and what your ideas are, and then let it go, that's pretty much the best that you can do. So that's one of several of the ways that you can stay present in the writer's room. Stay present and be focused. Don't take things personally. Find that balance between speaking too much and speaking too little. Find a way to be honest. Bring your objections if you have them, but in a kind and collaborative, curious way, and let things go. Because ultimately, it's not your show. You can contribute, but you can't control. And that is one of the secrets of being in a writer's room. I hope all that was helpful for you. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and leave a question or a comment in the space below if you have those. Thanks for joining me. You can find out so much more about coaching, about writing, if you go to the website, yourcreativelife.com, which is the hub of all the kinds of things I do as a coach. And you'll find there a way to sign up for the newsletter and a link to this channel and a link to the podcast, and all sorts of other really good and juicy things to help you and your creative life move ahead. And I do these videos every single week. So keep watching this space and show up here to learn more that can enhance your creative life. See you next time.